One day, the Buddha sat beneath the shade of a great sal tree, surrounded by disciples eager for his wisdom. A troubled man approached, his face drawn with sorrow, his eyes searching for solace in the presence of the enlightened one. "Master," the man began, his voice trembling with emotion, "my brothers are consumed by anger and greed, quarreling ceaselessly. Their words are barbed and their hearts closed, leaving me adrift in a sea of conflict." The Buddha regarded the man with calm, his gaze steady and filled with compassion, and he spoke, "Sit, my child, and listen to a story of the quarreling brothers," he said. They sat by the river, and Buddha gestured for the disciple to observe the flowing water. "What do you see?" Buddha asked, his voice as soft as the breeze. The brothers initially rejoiced in their good fortune, but their joy soon soured, turning to rivalry and greed. The elder brother, blinded by his desires, sought to claim the most fertile land, leaving the younger with the barren soil. The Buddha paused, his serene voice resonating like the rustle of leaves in a gentle breeze. The younger brother, consumed by anger at the perceived injustice, confronted his elder sibling with fierce accusations. "How dare you take what should be shared equally?" he cried. "Your greed defiles our father's legacy and shames our bond as family." Buddha continued, his tone steady, his gaze fixed on the flowing stream. "A mind at peace is like this river, flowing naturally, unburdened by the need to control everything." The disciple leaned forward, his attention fully on Buddha's words, eager to grasp their essence. "But Master," he said, his voice edged with doubt, "how can one let go when the world constantly demands action?" Buddha picked up a handful of pebbles, holding them out to the disciple, his eyes reflecting wisdom. "Take these and throw them into the river," he instructed, his tone inviting no argument. The disciple did as asked, watching as the pebbles created ripples before sinking to the riverbed. This villager, with no stake in their quarrel, offered a solution, a division of land that was fair and just. The troubled man who had approached the Buddha now clasped his hands together, his brow knitted in concentration, and his voice a whisper. "The river accepts the pebbles but does not cling to them," the disciple said, realization dawning in his voice. Buddha nodded, a quiet satisfaction in his demeanor, his voice weaving wisdom like silk threads. "Life is like this river. Obstacles will come, distractions will disturb, but peace lies in not holding on to them." The disciple felt the words resonate within him, like a chord struck deep in his soul, unearthing profound clarity. Buddha extended his hand, holding a leaf that had drifted onto the ground, its veins intricate and delicate. "This leaf does nothing to resist the wind or water, yet it moves with them. Is it not alive?" Buddha asked, his tone inviting reflection rather than demanding an answer. The disciple studied the leaf, marveling at its simplicity, its effortless acceptance of nature's flow. "Master, is it not the nature of life to strive, to act, to create change?" he questioned, his brow furrowed. Buddha smiled, the expression warm like sunlight filtering through the forest canopy, his voice a gentle guide. "To act wisely, one must first understand when to act and when to be still," he said, placing the leaf on the water. The man seated before the Buddha now knelt, his forehead touching the ground in reverence and gratitude. "Master, I see now the wisdom in your story," he said, his voice steady yet filled with emotion. "Toxicity thrives on reaction, and peace demands calm and wisdom in the face of turmoil." The Buddha extended a hand in blessing, his voice a river of serenity flowing into the troubled man's heart. "Rise, my child," he said, "and go forth with the calm and patience of the wise villager. Toxicity, like fire, feeds on fuel. Deprive it, and it shall extinguish itself." The man rose, his spirit lighter, and with a deep bow to the Buddha, He turned and walked back into the world, carrying with him a newfound understanding. The Buddha gazed after him, his lips curving into a faint smile, his heart at peace in the knowledge that his teaching had brought clarity to another seeking soul. Another day, the Buddha sat among his disciples near the serene banks of the river, the soft breeze stirring the air. A woman approached, her face pale and her eyes filled with sorrow, seeking solace and wisdom from the enlightened one. "Master," she began, her voice trembling, "my family treats me with cruelty and disdain, though I offer them love and respect. Their words poison my heart and their actions burden my spirit, leaving me lost and in despair." The Buddha regarded the woman with calm and unwavering compassion, and his voice flowed like the river beside them. "Sit, my child, and let me tell you the story of the poisoned well," he said, his words gentle yet firm. In a distant village, the Buddha began, there was a well whose water turned bitter and caused hostility among those who drank it. The villagers, unaware of the poison, quarreled bitterly, their words and actions tearing at the fabric of their once peaceful community. Buddha rose, his movement fluid, as though in harmony with the world around him, his voice a quiet proclamation. The art of doing nothing productively is to understand the harmony between effort and surrender, action and stillness. Yet among them, the Buddha continued, there was one villager who refused to drink from the poisoned well. Seeking instead the clear stream in the forest, the disciples exchanged glances, their expressions thoughtful as they absorbed the teaching within the story's unfolding truth. As they walked, the disciple felt a newfound serenity within, a quiet revolution transforming his approach to life. Buddha remained silent, his presence a testament to the power of stillness, his being an embodiment of peace. He faced the hostility of those around him with kindness and patience, his actions shining like light piercing through the clouds. The Buddha said, the poisoned villagers scorned him, mocking his choice to avoid the well. Yet he remained steadfast, drawing only from the stream. Though surrounded by discord, his inner peace inspired others, slowly guiding them toward the clarity of the pure water. The woman looked up at the Buddha, her eyes searching for the meaning behind the story, and her voice a quiet plea. Among the disciples sat young Sujata, her brow furrowed with worry, a clay bowl clutched tightly in her hands. "Master," Sujata began, her voice trembling, "how can I find peace when my heart feels as burdened as this heavy bowl?" Buddha turned to her, his gaze calm, his presence a wellspring of quiet reassurance. "Do not drink from it. Do not let their bitterness infect your heart. Instead," he said, his tone unwavering, "draw strength from the stream of compassion within you, and let your actions inspire those around you." "The bowl is full," Buddha observed, his voice resonating with measured clarity. "But full of what?" Sujata hesitated, her eyes scanning the contents, uncertain of what she should say. "It is full of many things, Master," Sujata replied, her voice tinged with confusion. "And yet, it feels heavy," Buddha added, gently lifting the bowl as if to emphasize its weight. The other disciples leaned closer, curiosity stirring within them, their attention fixed on the unfolding exchange. "Master, I shall strive to keep my heart untainted and to guide my family with compassion." Even amidst their cruelty, the Buddha extended his hand in blessing, his presence a wellspring of tranquility for the troubled soul before him. "Rise, my child," he said, his voice soothing, "and carry forth the clarity of the stream within you. Toxicity feeds on weakness. Let your strength starve its venomous roots." The woman rose, her spirit lightened and her heart filled with renewed determination, and she bowed deeply before the enlightened one. She turned and walked back into the world, carrying the wisdom of the story and the teachings to guide her path. The Buddha gazed after her, his lips curving into a faint smile, his heart at peace with the knowledge that his words had brought solace to another seeking soul. Another day, the Buddha sat under a banyan tree. His disciples gathered around, when a young monk approached him hesitantly. The monk bowed deeply, his head almost touching the ground, before raising his troubled eyes to meet the Buddha's gaze. "Master," he said, his voice quivering, "my family mocks my path and speaks words meant to wound me. Their negativity surrounds me like a swamp." The Buddha regarded him kindly, his expression serene as the gentle sway of the tree's leaves in the wind. "Sit, my son," the Buddha said, his voice calm, "and I shall tell you a story of rising above the mud of the world. In a lotus-filled pond, the Buddha began, there thrived a flower of remarkable beauty, its petals untouched by the mud surrounding it. These nourished the soul as water nourishes the body." The disciples watched, their faces reflecting their inner reflections, the lesson unfolding before them like petals of a blooming lotus. The disciples listened intently, their breaths quiet as they contemplated the lesson woven into the tail of the blossoming lotus. The Buddha continued, his words resonating like ripples spreading across still waters. "There was once a young man, born into a family of thieves, where deceit and corruption tainted their every action." The monk leaned forward, his furrowed brow betraying the weight of his family's influence upon his mind and spirit. Despite his family's ways, the Buddha said, the young man chose honesty and integrity, vowing to rise above their life of deceit. He faced mockery and resistance, the Buddha said, his voice steady, but he stood firm, his inner resolve as strong as the lotus's stem. The young man endured countless efforts by his family to sway him back into their ways. Yet his virtue remained unshaken. His actions, untainted by the shadows surrounding him, shone as brightly as the morning sun reflected upon a calm pond. The Buddha paused, his gaze meeting the monk's, and asked, "Do you see, my son, how the lotus rises above the mud, unsoiled and serene?" The monk nodded slowly, his lips parting slightly as he absorbed the imagery of purity amidst adversity. The young man's virtue, the Buddha continued, began to inspire even the most hardened members of his family. They, once steeped in deception, began to question their ways, moved by the light radiating from his honest life. Like the lotus that draws the eyes of all who see it, his purity became a beacon for change in the murky pond. The Buddha's voice softened, though it remained infused with a strength born of infinite compassion and wisdom. "To live as the lotus," he said, "one must not reject the mud, for it is the foundation of growth." He gestured to a nearby lotus blooming in a small pond, its petals vibrant and free of blemish. Yet one must rise above it, allowing the mud to nourish, but never to defile, the purity within. The monk bowed deeply, tears welling in his eyes, though his heart now felt lighter than it had before. "Master," he said, his voice steady with newfound understanding, "I will strive to be like the lotus, embracing my roots but transcending the mud." The Buddha extended a hand, blessing the monk as a smile graced his lips, peaceful as the evening horizon. "Go forth, my son," he said, his voice a gentle breeze, "and let your light guide even those submerged in the murkiness of their ways." The monk rose, bowing one final time before turning to depart, his spirit strengthened by the Buddha's teachings and the story of the lotus. The Buddha watched him walk away, his gaze serene, his heart at peace, knowing that another seed of wisdom had been planted. The disciples, still seated under the banyan tree, remained silent, reflecting on the profound lesson shared by the enlightened one. The Buddha closed his eyes, the calmness of his meditation an embodiment of the lotus itself, anchored yet untouched by the world around him. "Master," Dhiraj began, his voice low and weighted, "how do I master my life when my desires endlessly control me?" Buddha turned toward him, his expression serene, his presence a balm for unsettled minds. Dheeraj, Buddha said, his voice calm as the evening breeze. Step forward and observe the shadows before us. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.